let's talk entrance exams. What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry if I'm talking a little low. It's kind of late, and honestly this video was filmed already on Wednesday and today is Sunday, and I was just editing the video yesterday and I just wasn't satisfied with it, so I just wanted to come back on and I don't know, just be more to the point and less scattery. So we'll see how this take goes. Hopefully I'll have this video uploaded before midnight tonight. So yeah, let's hop right into the video. For nursing entrance exams, there are two different types. One is the Hesi A2 exam, which is the one that I had to take for my program. And if I'm not mistaken, this book was actually made by the people who made the Hesi test as well. So this is the best study guide to use. And then the second entrance exam is the TEAS, I believe 6th edition. This is the book that I used to study when I took it 2 years ago. Just a quick disclaimer, I have way more knowledge and information on the Hesi because it is the one that I most recently took. The last time I took the TEAS was in 2018. So I'm just going to be going off of what I remember and things that I looked up. It could be different, but make sure you do your own research. I just want to be on here to give you all like little tips and what to look for and what to expect on the exam. And I will be linking down study material, Quizlet links, and other helpful videos that I use to study in my blog post, which I will be linking down the direct link to that blog post. So whenever you're ready to study and have some resources, it'll be there for you. Okay, so first we're just going to go over the basic differences between the two. If you see me looking over, it is because I have my notes here on my iPad so that I can be organized for you all and make this video quick. So the TEAS test has 4 different sections on it, and it's reading, math, science, and English. And then the Hesi test can have up to 10 sections, and when I say up to, that just means that your school or your specific program can decide which sections that they require you to take. So for example, the cohorts before mine, they were only required to take math, reading, vocab, and grammar. But for our cohort, we had to take those in addition to anatomy and physiology. So just make sure you know which sections your program requires, and if you're not taking the test at that specific school that's offered, then you do want to make sure that wherever you're taking your test that they have all the sections that you need. Another quick tip is, even if you pay for the test and it has all of the sections that you need, including some, do not worry about taking those sections. Don't even worry about trying to click through and guessing, because that can mess up your overall score. So just take what you need and just ignore the other sections that you don't need, and it won't affect your score at all. Okay, and then for the TEAS test, I think they give you a little over 3 hours to take the exam, and then the Hesi test, I was given 5 hours for the Hesi test. Let's see. Both tests, you get your results immediately. I know for the Hesi, after you complete each section, the little number that you see loading is actually your score for that section, which can be kind of distracting in a good and bad way. So if you make the score that you need, you're gonna be like super excited and focus on that. And if you don't make the score that you need, you might be bummed out and not give your all like on the rest of the test. So that's the only thing about the Hesi. I don't remember that being a thing for the TEAS though. For the TEAS, the passing score is usually between 60 to 70. Every school is different. I think for the university I was going to apply to, it was like 64 point something, I want to say. And then for the Hesi, the passing score can be between 75 and 80. For my school, it was 75 on each section. For other schools, it can be an 80 on each section, or they want an 80 on a specific section. It just really depends on your program. So you want to make sure that you know exactly what your school is looking for. I would say always strive for the 90s, because 9 times out of 10, the rest of the applicants in the applying to your program, they probably have in the 90s. So I know for my school, the competitive started at 88. Like, although 75 was, it made you eligible to apply, you're competitive between 88 and up. So yeah, I personally scored overall 90 on pretty much every section. A&P was my highest section. It was a 96. And my lowest section was reading, which is weird because that's the easiest for me. But I guess at that time I was pretty irritated. I was taking it for the second time, and I don't know, I guess I got kind of tired. So that ended up being my lowest score, which the first time I took it, it was my highest score at a 98. But it doesn't matter. I think they really just look at the overall, and then for my school, I think they looked at anatomy and physiology as the tiebreaker. So yeah, that's the scores for that. So just make sure you know the passing scores for your school and always strive for the 90s. Okay, and then just a quick breakdown on what to expect to see on each section. I know that the Hesi has 2 different versions of the exam. I can't remember how it is for the TEAS, but I just know that overall this is what you can study for to be prepared to take, because this is what I saw both times that I took the Hesi. At least I really don't remember what was on the TEAS, but I did some research and I looked in the book, so hopefully that'll help. Okay, so on the Hesi, for the reading section, you're going to want to know the main idea, the summary, and contextual vocab meanings. So that means they are probably going to ask you, what does this word, how is this word used in this sentence in paragraph 3? So basically you're going to use context clues, you're going to use the topic of the passage that you're reading to determine the meaning. I'm actually filming a video right now. All right. Okay, so sorry, I just got off the phone and I don't even remember where I was. But anyways, yeah, so for reading, it's main idea, summary, and contextual vocab meanings. All right, and then for vocab, you're gonna need to know words and definitions, and just a heads up, they are gonna be health-related scenarios. So just make sure that you look in the book. It's very helpful, and also I'm gonna link down a Quizlet, and that should help you as well. Okay, and for grammar, you're gonna need to be familiar with parts of speech and the common grammatical errors. The book helps so much with that, so just make sure you go through each section, especially for grammar in the book. So that helps a lot, honestly. And just brush up on grammar. I know, like, honestly, the last time I remember learning grammar was in grade school, like before middle school. So yeah, just use the book, it'll help a lot. Okay, and then for math, ratios and proportions, you guys, it was like, for me, roughly 90% of the section was ratios and proportions. So make sure you brush up on that. Make sure you know your conversions. Remember a cute little way. I think for me, I did the King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. So just look that up, look up little cheat ways to remember the conversions, because that was the way I remembered. And when I got in the test, I just wrote down on my scratch sheet of paper so that I can have that out of the way. And then basic word problems was scattered throughout. So just make sure you know your basic math. The book definitely helped with that as well. It broke down every single section of math. Okay, and then for A&P, which was the hardest section for me, and the only reason why I say it was the hardest is because I haven't taken A&P. It's been 2 summers since I've taken A&P, and I made A's in both 1 and 2, which I'll have a story time on that. But A&P, the book does not help. I'm just gonna tell you that right now, and I've seen so many other videos that agree. The book does not help for A&P. Still go through it, but I actually ended up using this book. It goes into major detail on the body systems and organ functions, which is what you're going to be looking for. Sorry, it's organ system and functions, structural planes, and directional terms. But this book goes into great detail. Still skim through this for the section, but I'm going to link down some Quizlets and some other resources that I use. Actually, there's a girl on YouTube. She made like bomb notes over A&P, and I'm actually going to end up linking the link to her Google Drive or something like that, where she shared that. So that actually helped a lot too. So yeah, just make sure you know that. Make sure you brush up on A&P, especially if you haven't taken it within the year or within the semester or two that you're taking your exam. Okay, so moving on to the TEAS. What to look for in the TEAS. For the reading, it's still going to be main ideas and summary. For math, it's algebra and data measurements. For science, it's going to be A&P, scientific reasoning, and physical and life science, such as biology and A&P. And then English is going to be language, knowledge, and vocab. So for me, although the TEAS has less sections, those sections still go into depth on the broken down sections of the Hesi. So really the tests are pretty similar. For example, science has physics, bio, and I think I remember having a chem question, and A&P, and all crammed into one section, versus Hesi has it broken down. So they have physics, I don't think they have chemistry. They have physics, they have biology, and they have anatomy. So their sections are separate, and for TEAS, it's all crammed into one section. So really they're pretty similar. You need to know none of them I would say is easier than the other. You just need to study, and you need to know what to look for. I also suggest making a cute little study schedule. This is what I did, which the video that I'm going to link in my blog post, she gave me this awesome idea. I actually took the practice test at the beginning of the book. I saw where my weak points were, which was, of course, math and A&P. So on here, I wrote math and A&P every single day, and then I just spread out reading, grammar, and vocab, because those were good for me. So this helped me stay on track. It helped me study. I broke down for A&P which section I was going to study that day, like skeletal and muscular, or meiosis and mitosis, circulatory, respiratory, digestive, urinary, reproductive. I just broke down each sections, and then for math, I also broke down like what I was learning that day. So in the Hesi tips are awesome. Highlight those, remember those, make flashcards. I can't find my flashcards right now, but make flashcards with the directional terms so you can remember small stuff like anterior, posterior, superior, and inferior, medial, lateral, all that great stuff. Just the tiny stuff that would slip your mind just from nerves or anxiety in the test. And make sure that you continue to embed it in your mind, even if you feel like you know it. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. Oh, one last thing. I dedicated a notebook to learning. This was a 5-subject notebook, and I split up the sections into the sections of the Hesi, which I had to take 5 sections, so it worked out perfectly for me. And I just wrote down every single thing, notes, Hesi tips, anything that I could remember, any tips from people who had already taken it that I watched on YouTube. So yeah, I would definitely recommend doing that. Treat this like a class, you guys. Break it down into like units and treat it like a class, and you'll do fine. So that's pretty much all I have for the video. Please make sure to check the description box for the link to my blog so that you can get the resources in the study material and Quizlet links and all that stuff that I'm going to link in there. And I'm just going to type out all the things that I talked about in the video as well. So yeah, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. Bye, I'll see you in the next one.